Lesson 5, Chapter 1, Making of America, Expulsion. Right, when you are expelled, that means you're chucked down. So they're now going to be removing the Indians from the east. And we're going to concentrate on these 5 tribes mentioned here: Seminole, Choctaw, Creek, Chickasaw, Cherokee. Look at where they live. That is prime land down in the south that could be used for slavery. So these 5 tribes here, they're going to get moved over to the Great Plains, and then the whites are going to have cotton plantations down there. All right, so we started chapter 1 kind of like looking at obviously the really early tensions between the Indians and the whites and George Washington and what he was doing, and we come back to it. So the Indians are living down in the south. The whites know that, but the whites want the land. Whites aren't Indians, Indians aren't white. So that means they need to be removed. And they've now got, by 1830, a president that's going to help them. Look, that's going to be the president. Look at his background. Yeah, look at his background. He was an Indian fighter. So our 5 civilized tribes, yeah, we'll go back to them again. Remember the Seminole, Choctaw, Creek, Chickasaw, Cherokee. All right, a little bit of source analysis. We always look at that picture. And look, trading, getting on together. Look at how the Indians are living. They are civilized. That means they're living like the whites. Very different to some of the Indians that we're going to mention in chapter 2. Right, look at what they had. They had written language, different to the Indians we mentioned in chapter 2. They had newspapers. Yeah, look, adopt American ways. So they'd like integrated themselves into American society. But the thing is, they weren't white. The whites wanted that land for slavery. So what do? They use the Congress, they use the president, they pass an act, pass a law, and they get the Indians out. But they didn't all go quietly. The reaction: Indian resistance. The Seminoles will fight 3 wars against the whites. They do not want to leave their homelands, but by the end, they will have to leave. The Creeks get their revenge. They fight against. They did not want to go. The Cherokee did not want to go, and it will end in tears for them. So there's a lot of reading to do for this one. Let's look at the Seminole Wars. 3 different Seminole Wars. Cost the Americans a fortune fighting against the Indians, but they did. The Indians end up losing. By the end of the 3rd war, only 200 Seminoles were left in Florida. The rest headed west. The Creeks didn't want to go. They did their best. They tried to complain. They complained to their local state, which was Alabama. Alabama, though, remember, was not interested in what the Indians want. It's only interested in what is good for the whites. The Creeks try and fight back. Steal crops, steal livestock. Doesn't work. they are forced west. The Cherokee, again, they don't want to go. Some do. The majority don't. They were rounded up, placed in concentration camps. Don't forget, we always think about that being to do with the Nazis. It's not, it's just a prison camp. They are then forced west on a 3-month journey. The Trail of Tears, iconically captured in that painting that you will look at. And they die of cold, disease, hunger. Look, 18,000, 4,000 to 5,000 of them die on the journey. And then to conclude, that's the impact that it has overall. The Indians are forced west, 25 million acres more added to white settlement and to the spread of slavery. And that's the end of chapter 1.